presidents during the most scandalous and troubling times in modern history, like Watergate, the Cold War, 9/11, the Iraq War. So here to give his view of our current life, please welcome Donald Rumsfeld. Hey.
I'm retired.
I know, but you know, as long as you have a thought in your head, people want to hear it. Now, is this administration? Have you ever seen anything as sort of not problematic, but where you just are not sure what is actually going on? Is this sort of unique?
Is that a non-denial denial?
Where did you find her?
I don't know.
It's different.
Yeah.
You may have noticed.
Yeah. Yeah, you could go for it, Donnie. Come on.
You're retired.
You're retired. You have nothing to lose. Tell us the truth.
This individual, the President of the United States, I've never met, but I watched him in the campaign.
Yeah.
And he ran against a whole bunch of Republicans who were governors and senators and congressmen, and it was a good group.
Russians? Yeah, no, kidding. I'm kidding.
No.
And he won. And then he ran against the Democrat.
Yeah.
A seasoned individual, well-known, Hillary Clinton, and he won.
Well, he lost by 3 million votes in the popular vote. He won the electoral vote, yes, and that's the rule of the country.
What counts?
Well, the electoral vote counts.
I thought so.
Yeah. But, you know,
thought so.
I still like to point that out because
Yeah.
it annoys him. Now, you worked in you were on the Watergate trail. You worked for Nixon, right? Remember that?
I was in Nixon's cabinet. I did not go to jail.
No. One of the few who did not go to jail.
I was actually in Belgium as U.S. ambassador to NATO when that was going on. And someone said, "Who's the smartest man in Washington?" Answer, Don Rumsfeld. But he's not in Washington. That's right. I knew nothing about it, and I was sent over as ambassador to NATO, and all of that went on, and it was a terrible tragedy for our country, and the first time in our history when a president had to resign.
Well,
And let's hope it never happens again.
I don't know that that was a tragedy. I mean, he needed to resign. He was a crook.
Do you have strong views on this?
I do. And, you know, I see some similarities right now going on. I mean, there was a break-in in the Watergate complex. In this case, there was a Russian break-in on the internet. Similar, no? There are other things I have here. There were many similarities. He fired, what's his name, Archibald Cox, the lead investigator. Trump fired his lead investigator, Comey.
I think drawing those, suggesting that we're at a point that approximates Watergate, I think is a stretch.
You know what, Don, I really believe this is worse because the Russian interference, we have a foreign nation interfering with our election. You don't think that that's unbelievably sad for this country?
That's scary. And there is an investigation going. I mean, if he is found to have...
And we'll find out what the investigation proves,
Should he be
but we don't know
impeached?
the answer.
If it's true, should he be impeached?
If it's true, what is
If his administration colluded with the Russians to win this election,
I haven't
should
seen
he be
any
impeached?
evidence
But
that they have colluded.
if.
Why would I want to if that?
Hypothetically, Secretary.
Why do you want to engage in hypotheticals?
Because it could become a reality.
This man was elected President of the United States. There is an investigation on the subject you've cited, which is perfectly appropriate.
Right.
Every administration has investigations.
And a special prosecutor.
Nothing has been concluded, but I have a sense you may be jumping to conclusions.
No, but
but it's a hypothesis.
No, but
We see
she's
that all
not
the
jumping
time.
to conclusions when she says it is a fact that the Russians interfered in the election. We know that for a fact.
Do we think other countries haven't had messed around in our country before? Lots of countries are interested in
So
it's
okay then?
This is okay. No, it's not okay.
This is supposedly
okay.
these are enemies of the United States.
Yeah, but you're taking a leap from another country horsing around in our business and collusion.
But
and there is an
that's a big leap.
enormous difference.
But if there is collusion, is that Isn't that an impeachable
Let's come
offense?
from another angle here, guys.
Okay.
Okay, so
anything.
Ding, ding,
I mean,
Trump.
okay, gonna need that bell whoop. Okay, Trump was under fire for allegedly spilling highly classified information to the Russians while in the Oval Office. And given the terror attack in Manchester on Monday and recent news that the UK is kind of, or Manchester's cutting off sharing information with us because of these, some of the UK.
Yeah.
They're cutting off the sharing this information because of these leaks. Do you think this is going to continue to happen, that people are not going to be sharing information we need in regard to intelligence because of leaking of classified information?
I don't. I think that sharing intelligence is enormously important because every country has intelligence collection, and the countries that we cooperate with closely share with us, and we share with them, and that doesn't happen unless there's a high degree of confidence that it will be handled in an appropriate way.
Wow.
There are leaks that occur in every country, in every administration. There seem to be leaks taking place now out of the White House, which is unfortunate. And that is important that that be managed so that we do not lose the ability to cooperate with the intelligence sharing with other countries.
I want to talk, this weekend is Memorial Day, and I want to talk about some of the amazing stuff that you're doing for the military. In our audience, we have Ryan Mannion. Her brother Travis served under you in Iraq, and in 2007 was killed by sniper fire while saving his team. Amazing story. Your family set up the Travis Mannion Foundation after his death.
No, her family did,
Her
yes.
family, I apologize, set up that. Now, how does that help with the military? Tell us a little bit about the foundation.
Sure. So the foundation is there to bridge the gap between the 99% of those that don't serve and the 1% that do. And we use our veterans and families of the fallen to go out and inspire the next generation to not just serve their country, but be servant leaders right in their own backyards.
Wow, that's a
Well, and Secretary Rumsfeld, you recently donated $500,000 to the Ryan's Foundation. Why did you decide to partner with them?
Well, I was in Congress in the 1960s and was one of the ones who introduced legislation to create the all-volunteer military. Before that, we had a draft. When we had a draft, large numbers of people served, but a lot of them didn't want to serve. And now we have a volunteer force, and every one of these people in uniform, they all made a conscious decision to serve the country. That means there are a lot of people who aren't connected to the military. And God bless each of them for doing what they're doing. But the Travis Mannion Foundation sends out people, something like 100, 150 different people go out, and they talk to people in the community, schools and various like. They've touched, I don't know how many, about 30,000 people a year, I believe, is what they believe they reach out to. And talk with military people, military families, talking to people who don't have a direct relationship with the military. And we have the greatest armed forces in the world because of the all-volunteer force, in my view. And
It would be really nice if we could make sure that we remind that in Washington. It would be really nice if we could remind Washington, who tends to cut the budget of the military, and our vets, which drives me crazy. But, you know, it's always good to see you. Thank you for coming. But you'll be back. We'll be back. We'll all be back.